If Will Smith had read The Man Crisis and stopped simping, he wouldn't have embarrassed himself at the Oscars.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
Actor Will Smith participated in a moment that will be remembered in infamy after he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Now, in this incident, your Chris Rock had made a joke in a monologue about Jada Pinkett Smith becoming the star of G.I. Jane 2. Now, after hearing this joke, your Will Smith laughed, and then your Jada Pinkett Smith cut a cold look at him, and then he decided to storm up to the stage and slap Chris Rock. Now, some are saying that this was justified because your Chris Rock had disrespected Jada Pinkett, but I believe that the real reason why your Will Smith slapped Chris Rock wasn't because he was defending his wife's honor. It was an explosion in rage as related to all of the emasculating events that took place over the last couple of months regarding his wife's affair with August Alsina. And because he could not go out here and fight August Alsina, what he did was take the path to of least resistance, because this is something I have encountered when I was in junior high school at IS 148 and Park West High School. Whenever a guy gets humiliated and emasculated by another person who is they believe is more powerful than they are, what they do is go look for the weakest person and they go attack who they believe to be the weakest person. Now, that's what I believe happened here with Will Smith. He felt emasculated by his wife over the last couple of months, who has practically humiliated him by going out here and saying that she had an entanglement with August Alsina, and then he couldn't deal with his wife. So what he did was he simmered and boiled in anger for the last couple of months. And then, as he was getting ready to have his night at the Oscars, he then exploded in a rage and decided to take it out on the person who he believed could not fight him back. So, what your Will Smith did was, after he heard this joke, he then decided to finally take out all of that rage that he had at Jada Pinkett out on your Chris Rock by slapping him. And then after he slapped Chris Rock, he then talked about keep your wife's name out of your mouth. And again, this is him showing the world that he is not a strong man, but he is a man in crisis. And your Will Smith has been, again, a man in crisis for the last couple of years, and he's been suffering in silence for an extended period of time, trying to hold on to a bad marriage, but this bad marriage wound up sadly making him look really worse on what should have been the night of his life. Now, your Will Smith was supposed to be nominated for an Oscar for his excellent performance in King Richard, and this would have been his night of all nights. Unfortunately, that night wound up getting tarnished because he did not understand the concept of navigating through your emotions. Now, whenever somebody goes out here and says something disrespectful, some people believe that the thing to do is to go out here and act impulsively to take your respect. But that's not what a man does. What a man does is he remains calm, he keeps his mouth shut, and he does not react by attacking an individual. He responds by remaining calm and showing everyone that he has the strength of character to not go down to the level of a weak man like a Chris Rock. Yes, your Chris Rock took things too far, but the whole thing is your Will Smith needed to stay on his level. No, and instead of staying on his level, what your Will Smith did that was a mistake was allow his wife with just a few looks to goad him into acting impulsively on the stage of the Oscars. And when he went out here and acted impulsively on the stage of the Oscars, what he did was not only embarrass himself, but he also embarrassed black men as a collective. Because when you have a black man who goes out here and acts impulsively, what that does is it sends a message to the world about the whole image of black men. And when your Will Smith went out here and slapped Chris Rock, that sent a message to the world regarding your black man, that he is somebody who does not have discipline. He is not someone who has self control. He is not someone who can go out here and think critically. No, he reacted emotionally, and he reacted emotionally all because he wanted to go out here and try to please his wife, a wife who did not show him the respect he deserved. Now, all of Will Smith's problems as related to his issues are related to his wife, and has nothing to do with her alopecia. No, these issues have to do with the disrespectful way your Jada Pinkett has treated Will Smith over the last couple of months, talking about this entanglement, basically disrespecting this man over the course of the last couple of months. And what she didn't understand is that this disrespect you gave your husband, this opened the door for other people to disrespect your husband. What most women these days don't understand is that you are a reflection of your man, and when you go out here and disrespect your man, what you are doing is sending a message to the world. It's okay for me to go out here and disrespect your man. So all of those red table talks where your Jada was out here emasculating Will Smith and humiliating him on a public space, what this did was it set a place where people felt like, okay, we now have a right to disrespect Will Smith because you do not respect Will Smith. And this is something any woman out here who has been married understands about marriage. The way she treats her husband is going to send a message to other people about how others can treat him. And this is why things escalated so badly at the Oscars, because your Will Smith did not set a boundary for his wife. He did not check his wife. And because he did not check his wife when she talked about this entanglement, what this did was lead to an escalation where others felt they had the right to go out here and disrespect your Will Smith. And this is the ultimate form of disrespect, because you had your Chris Rock not only disrespect Will Smith by talking bad about his wife, one. Two, you had Jada Pinkett disrespect Will Smith on his night of all nights by getting him to go out here and attack another man at a major event. And this all again makes your Will Smith look very, very weak, and it just again makes black men as a collective look weak, because what this does is what many of these racists and many other people are going to do is use your Will Smith as a proxy to go out here and be a representative of black men, black manhood, and black masculinity. Now, I get where a lot of people would say, oh, Will was standing up and taking his respect, but no, that's not how you take your respect. Now, I originally wrote a situation similar to this in my novel, The Temptation of John Haynes, where John Haynes runs into the man who fired him at his job, and they have an argument on the floor of this business conference. Now, your John, what he does is he steps off the floor, takes a minute to cool down, and Eastham talks to him about what went on. And instead of him getting emotional and looking to go fight the guy, what he does is he takes his security and removes the man off the premises. So you have to think critically when you're out here in these type of social situations, because there are going to be people who push your buttons, but you cannot go out here and act on those feelings. you have to respond by using critical thinking to go out here and solve the problem. And what your Will Smith needed to do in this situation was it is go out here and just laugh it off and then shrug it off, and then you go out here and take your Chris Rock to the side after the show and you let him know that you disrespected my wife, that you were out of line, and the two of you have that out in private. That is how men go out here and conflict resolve when they're in a situation where they are out socially, because for a man to react emotionally, this is not a good look for that man. And what is even worse of a look for your Will Smith is that he let his woman goad him into embarrassing himself and embarrassing black men as a collective, because he has not really dealt with all of the feelings he's had about being emasculated by your Jada Pinkett. But this whole situation with your Jada Pinkett, this had been simmering and boiling for an extended period of time due to the so-called entanglement that your Will Smith's wife had with your August Alsina. And again, your Will Smith feeling powerless about the humiliation he suffered at his wife's disrespect on the Red Table Talk and her disrespect as related to the affair that she had. He knew that he could not go out here and physically fight your August Alsina, and he knew that he could not go out here and throw down with this man, but he wanted to go out here and hurt somebody because he's hurting on the inside. So he could not go out here and fight your August Alsina. He has not gone out here and fought people like 50 Cent to defend the honor of his wife. And because he felt powerless in that situation, he's been simmering and boiling in anger as related to the toxic state of his marriage. And everything came to a crescendo as he exploded in this rage and he attacked Chris Rock. And again, this really makes black men as a collective look bad, because it says that a black man cannot go out here and deal with those who disrespect him. And basically, he has to go to who he thinks is the weakest person in the black community, and that is another black man. So it sadly sends a message that the black female is more powerful than the black man, and it sends a message to the world that the black man is not somebody who needs to be taken seriously, because the black man cannot go out here and deal with his conflicts as related to with his conflicts with his woman. So your Will Smith feeling powerless about not being able to check your Jada. What he's doing is sending a message that the woman is so powerful he can't fight a black woman, he can't stand up to a black woman, he can't check a black woman, and that an out of order black woman is so powerful that he just does not have the courage to face her. And instead of him facing her, what he does is he goes out here and looks for the weakest person he can find, which is another black man. This is something I saw on the yards of IS 148 and Park West High School numerous times growing up, and it's something I've seen go on in many other parts of my life. And it sends a message that your black man is not someone who needs to be respected, because if he cannot take his respect by checking his woman, then nobody else will go out here and respect him. And that's the thing that flies over the head of your Will Smith, who has now participated in one of the greatest moments in simp infamy by going out here and trying to defend the honor of a dishonorable female who has gone out here and basically embarrassed you for all of the annals of history. Because when your Jada Pinkett sent the look to Will Smith and he acted on impulse to defend your Jada Pinkett, he basically sent a message to the world that even though he is now one of the best actors in the Academy's annals, he still is not a man that anybody needs to respect. And he sent that on a world stage. And sending that message on a world stage again sent a message to the world about black men as a collective. And that message was, we do not need to respect a black man because a black man does not respect himself, and he does not even understand how to carry and conduct himself in these kinds of situations. Now, after your Will Smith slap your Chris Rock, you had other men like Denzel Washington and others try to talk to him. And after he got talked to, he then apologized for his behavior. But sadly, the damage was done to black men as a collective, and it was done to the image of black men by the impulsive behavior of your Will Smith, who didn't understand how to carry and conduct himself as a man because he's been a man in crisis for the last couple of years. And as he suffered in silence, he has not really gotten the guidance on how to deal with situations as related to disrespectful women like your Jada Pinkett. And that is all due to his paradigm of picking these toxic and dysfunctional females like your Jada Pinkett and going out here and getting involved with them. Now, I don't believe your Will Smith would have acted like this if a white man went out here and made those same jokes. I believe if a white man made those same jokes, your Will Smith would have given pause to it. And the reason why I believe he would have given pause is because your Will Smith would have understood the optics of the situation as related to race, and he would have understood that if a black man attacks a white man, it would bring embarrassment to the race. But because this was, another black man, he felt the right to go do this, and he felt like, okay, this is another black man. He has less power than me, so I can go out here and hurt that other black man the way I want to go out here and deal with this black woman. So he goes out here and uses the black man, who he thinks is the weakest in the room. But I don't think he would have done this with a white man because it would have been received differently by society. Again, this is your Will Smith not going out here and again taking that path the least resistance. And when guys take the path to least resistance, it sends a message to the world that he is a weak man. He is a man that nobody needs to respect. And sadly, even with an Oscar, your Will Smith lost everything as related to the intangibles of manhood. Yes, he won an Academy Award for Best Actor that he had been desiring ever since he was young, but what he lost on that stage last night was far more important. What he lost was his face, what he lost was his dignity, what he lost was his self-respect, and what's sad is it hasn't dawned on your Will that he has practically lost many of the most important intangibles of his manhood, and he's shown the world that he is not a man who is in control of himself. No, he has shown the world that he truly is a man in crisis, and he is a man who desperately needs help. Either he needs to go find some psychotherapy to deal with the issues as related to being emasculated in his marriage, or he just needs to divorce your LSD, the little sexual deviant known as Jada Pinkett Smith, and he needs to get rid of this woman before she further causes him to lose even more. Because if this woman cannot, again, show you respect as related to the greatest night of your life and help you be able to deal with a situation as related to the best night of your life and see the big picture, then that woman is not reflecting positively on you. And with your Jada Pinkett, one of the big problems with her is that she still has emotional soul ties to Tupac, and that's why she doesn't respect Will Smith and has no problem seeing him embarrassed on the greatest night of her life. Because I guarantee you, if this was Tupac and they were clowning him at the Oscars, she would tell him to shake it off, honey, instead of sending him to go out here and do some simp dirty work by trying to go out here and fight for the honor of her dishonorable woman. Now, again, I understand where your Will Smith was as related to being in between a rock and a hard place, but the whole thing is that he wouldn't have been in this place had he not checked his woman all those months ago and let her know that you're not going to disrespect me by talking about entanglement. You're not going to disrespect me by going out here and trying to emasculate me on your own show. All of this disrespect had turned into a powder keg of rage, and we saw that rage explode at the Oscars, and we saw a man who should have had his defining moment in Oscar history turn into a man in crisis. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to learn more about the dysfunctional behavior of beta males like Will Smith, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also pick up The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com.